because it actually will make you feel better about the foods that you're putting in your body. And you know what? When you know better, you do better, and knowledge is power. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley, and I'm a holistic nutritionist who is on my own health journey and is looking to inspire and motivate you to do the same. And in this video, we are talking about nutrition labels. They're legally required to be on every processed food, but most people do not know how to read them. And given that nutrition labels have actually changed in the past couple years, I'm gonna teach you how to read nutrition labels to reach your health goals. So first, let's just jump into what is a nutrition label in the first place. So it's actually able to help you know what's nutritionally in every type of food that you're eating. The only thing is that they're not in fresh foods, so you won't see it on a banana or on an apple, but you will see it on any processed food, so you can know nutritionally what's in it. So you may be wondering to yourself,
why do I even need to know this in the first place?
Well, there are plenty of claims that a box may have that says that it is fat-free or that it has so many grams of protein to it, but you have no idea the amount of sugars that are in it or if it has any saturated fat. That may not be on the box, but those are important things that you want to avoid or limit in your diet. So it's really helpful for you to know how to read a nutrition label so that you can figure those things out for yourself. And yes, these companies can make any claim that they want to on the front of the box, but it's the nutrition facts label that will tell you the truth. And really, it's helpful to know what's in a nutrition label because it actually will make you feel better about the foods that you're putting in your body. And you know what? When you know better, you do better, and knowledge is power. So it's really helpful for us to know as much as we can so that we can fuel our bodies in the right way. So now that we've talked a little bit about nutrition labels, if you like this type of content, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as well as leave a comment of any tips that you have as far as nutrition labels. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We would love to have you here. All right, so let's break down this nutrition label from top to bottom, starting with the servings. On this nutrition label, it tells you how many servings there are per container in this package. So this label is actually showing 8 servings per container, meaning that if you actually eat the entire container, that means you would need to multiply everything that you see in this label times 8 to know how much you're actually eating in this package. So the next thing you'll notice is that the serving size itself is 2/3 of a cup, meaning that if you were to measure out 2/3, then that would be the amount of serving that you would have for this portion. You'll also notice that this is in bold. This is just a way of the label showing you that this is something that's really important for you to know. And a lot of the foods that we eat, we are not eating the proper amount of portion sizes. Especially when you're going out to eat, there are multiple portions that you're being given. So when it comes time for you to eat at home, then you just want to be mindful of how much that you're eating. It gets a little complicated when you're making like a pasta and things that have multiple portions inside of them. That's when I like to use apps like MyFitnessPal or LifeSum in order for you to have more of a ballpark. Just keep in mind that anything on those apps are really just an estimate. All right, so now we're moving on to calories. And calories are just units of energy. But there are a lot of people who use calorie counting in order for them to monitor how much they're eating. And I definitely am a fan of calorie counting at certain times rather than others. Right now, I'm not calorie counting, not to say that I won't be calorie counting in the future. Just right now, I'm focusing on intuitive eating. And if you're looking for more information about intuitive eating, then I'll definitely link that playlist in the cards above. And again, this is in bold and nice big letters, just for you to know that this is something that's very important for you to know. Using calories to your advantage to know how much you need to have is really, really important, but also you can use that as a guide and not something that makes you super strict, but something that helps you to be more knowledgeable about what it is that you're putting in your body. So the next section in the nutrition label is talking all about macros as well as some pretty heavy hitters when it comes to micros as well. Starting with total fat. The fat content of food is really important to know, but also you want to know not only the total fat, but also the trans fats as well as saturated fats. At all costs, you want to avoid trans fats, but you can have a little bit of saturated fats. One thing to note is that high amounts of saturated fats as well as trans fats have been linked not only to chronic conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure, but also cancerous conditions as well. Next, we're moving on to cholesterol, sodium, and carbohydrates. High amounts of these have been linked to chronic conditions as well. So you just really want to be careful if that's something that you may have. Say you have high blood pressure, you definitely want to be mindful of your sodium levels. If you are diabetic, you want to be mindful of your sugar levels. And to be honest, I try to be mindful of my sodium levels as well as my sugar levels, because I find that when I have too much sugar, my body is not functioning how it should be. I'm holding on to calories and I'm holding on to fat, and it's just not where I want to be right now in order to hit my goals. Something that you may not have realized is that sugar is a type of carb. So when you're trying to think about breads, bread actually has sugar in it. I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but when you're eating bread and if you just have bread in your mouth, like just letting it break down, then you may actually taste the sweetness. That's why bread tastes so good, is because it actually is sweet. There is sugar inside of bread. With this label, it has 10 grams of sugar, which is pretty high for a food. So if I'm thinking about this food and using this nutrition label as a guide, then I may be a little hesitant to have it, just because even though it's low in calories, it's pretty high in sugar. Last but not least in this section, it shows the amount of protein that's in this package. Now this package only has 3 grams of protein. For those who are on a high protein diet, this may not seem like a lot to you. But in general, this isn't necessarily chump change when it comes to protein content. Every nutrition label that you see will have all of these in the same order. So if you're looking at a food from a quick glance, this is how you can break things down and just keep moving it along when you're grocery shopping. Something that I didn't touch on was the percent daily value that's showing on the right side of the column. This is referring to those who are having a 2,000 calorie diet, which according to the Food and Drug Administration is actually the amount of calories on average that a male should be having per day. Most people do not have 2,000 calories per day. That's actually too many calories for me, but we'll just go along with it because that's what's on the label. Now, if you want to see more information about that, it's actually on the bottom of the label as well. Now, when it comes to the percentage, it's actually showing you the percent per day of this nutrient that you should be having. So when it comes to sugar, it's 20% in this container alone. That means that it is 20% of what you should be having in a full day. 20% is really high and way too much for you to be having in only one food. Also, like I mentioned before, that's on a 2,000 calorie diet. If you are having less amount of calories, that's actually more of a percentage for you per day. And last but not least, we're diving into a little bit more of our micros here. Micros shown on this label are actually micros that people tend to have deficiencies in. If you have a deficiency in iron, then this food actually might be pretty good for you to have, considering it's about 45% of the daily value of iron that you would need to have per day. It's really important to have a blood test to know if you have any deficiencies in any micronutrients. Then when you're going grocery shopping or just picking up foods, you can know how those foods will impact your micronutrient levels. Learning how to read nutrition labels is really helpful if you're trying to learn intuitive eating. However, if you're trying to dive deeper into calorie counting, then you'll definitely want to check out this video here. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as well as leaving a comment below and subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.